Our vision for our simple software as a service is to facilitate not only the uniting of humanity worldwide, but to compound a union of our financial success. Our innovative software doesn't just connect businesses. It fosters collaboration, turning competition into partnership in a global business that never sleeps. We acknowledge and honor the fact that to this day, in all of history, you are one of one. There never has been and never will be anyone as beautiful and unique as you.
All right, here we go. Let's do this. It's day 25, Dave. Can you believe it? Like 30 days ago, well, not 25 days ago, we set out to go, all right, let's do a 30-day challenge. It was a little bit impromptu, but loving the consistency, loving the intentionality and the purpose behind this whole challenge. And Dave, I can see you there. You're still muted. So, when you go to talk, you probably won't be able to talk. We won't be able to hear you. But today's topic's all about leadership as influence, right? So, and how to become more effective as a leader and really as an influencer in affiliate marketing. So, Dave, before we get into it, what do you think makes a great leader?
Ooh, lots of things. I guess you've got to be able to listen to people. You've got to be able to guide people. You've got to, be one step ahead of them most of the time. But I think that listening part's a good thing. So I guess a lot of it's like knowledge, experience, and I guess the willingness to want to guide people really. Probably.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then on the flip side of the coin, what do you think are some of the attributes that make a bad leader?
Somebody that hasn't got the experience, I suppose. Somebody that doesn't listen and is micromanages too much. Somebody that just doesn't know how to communicate, I suppose, with people, because that's also a big thing. If they can't communicate and get their message across clearly without being arrogant, then they got no chance.
I think that's the key word there, without being arrogant, right? Ego and arrogancy. I've been on both sides of the coin. In my immature days, it was all about the Jeff Ross show. It was all about, look at me, how great I am. And it was, and people who I would have, I thought were following me. I was a leader. It was all positional leadership, right? And it was like, these people were here to serve me. And I had to quickly realize very, very quickly in that journey that ain't the way it's going to work. It may work very short term, but it ain't going to work long term, right? And I think that, the key difference here between a leader who's, all about the fame, all about the celebrity status, look at me, versus a leader who's just here to really serve. And it's that servant-hearted leadership, that servanthood. Which is, like the best example I could think of as leadership is Jesus. Jesus didn't come to be served. He came to serve people, right? Yeah, so who do you think, in modern day history, would you class as a great leader?
Me. No, sorry, did I say that out
loud? There's that ego.
Yep, there you go. Exactly. Well, actually, and it's probably say modern day people that I've worked with recently and closely, it would have to be you. And I'm not trying to fluff your ego, but I know I've seen you grow in this space a lot over the last 18 months that I've been working with you. And like you said, you've gone from it being, all about the Jeff Ross show to more about how, you can serve the community. And I think that is great leadership and, takes, a big person or a good leader to be able to accept that, that is the way to do it. So yeah, I'm going to say you, and not just to fluff your ego up.
No, I
Yeah,
appreciate the kind words.
I couldn't say any politicians because they're all useless. So I have to leave them out of it. And my history is probably not that great. So because I don't really care about what happened 5,000 years ago. But yeah, so. And then I guess if you want to go into the the religion side of it, well, yeah, Jesus would be another one. So
Yeah, and hey, I appreciate the kind words, thank you, and I received that, but yeah, it's not about me, right? It's about that example of what a great leader does, and essentially leadership is influence, and influence is leadership, and g'day Amelia, yeah, totally agree with you. There ain't many politicians that I would class as a great leader at the moment. Maybe back in the 1950s and whatnot, but not today. It's I think the challenge with leadership, and exactly, I was just about to say that, as your influence grows, and essentially you have a lot of authority and a lot of weight in that space to inspire people to take action, influence people. I think that volume of leadership could go to a lot of people's head and make it very easy to be corrupted, because they want more of that endorphins, the dopamine effect that feels good when we're in that powerful position. And I look at the great leaders of our day. It's not about them at all. If anything, what they try to do is they try to make themselves small, and the people that they're leading the big thing, right? And in return, it's a sort of like the byproduct of that is people start putting the leaders up on pedestals and that type of thing. So it's very there's got to be a lot of maturity, a lot of wisdom to not let that go to your head. And in my early days, it did go to my head. And I had to learn that, there's different levels of leadership, right? There's positional leadership, but then at the top of that pinnacle, there's leadership that is essentially it's people are following you not because they have to, but because they choose to, and you're there to serve the community. So I want to get into this topic around leadership today. And basically, I think one of the best people I know that are teaching this topic in today's world is John Maxwell. He's got his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And I know in a core circle, that's what we've been going through lately. And Dave, just, you've been a part of those conversations with our inner circle, in that mastermind context. What has been the impact of studying leadership done for you?
Wow. Highlighted the areas, probably highlighted a lot of the areas that I thought I knew that I wasn't, quite as up to speed on as I thought I was. So that brought me down a few pegs, I guess. So yeah, just that realization of what actually it is, and we're sort of working through it. And from my background, I have had a lot of leadership experience in other worlds, but yeah, I just think the realization of what it takes to be a good leader, and for the group itself, it's just been amazing how we've actually seen the others in the group transform in their leadership roles, and we're all growing into that leadership role. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a job in the corporate world, or you're a father, you're a mother, you're a brother. You're in some form of leadership every day.
Correct.
And this is I think this is where people sort of don't see themselves as leaders, because they've been brought up to believe that they need a hierarchy type positional structure to be classed as a leader. Well, I can see that my son, Harrison, who's our eldest son, is a leader to his brothers. And, even Jackson could be, a leader to his brothers as well in certain contexts, in certain conversations. And so, it doesn't have to be always about positional, and I found when you can learn these laws of leadership, and you can learn the characteristics of leadership, you get to step up and grow up. And to be able to be a person of service, and essentially that's all affiliate marketing, or influencer marketing really is. is we're leading people on the journey to help them to, create a better life, to lead them to these amazing products that transform them to get out of Sucksville to Awesome Town, to get from a before state to an after state. So I thought it was a really important topic today to really dive into around leadership. So Dave, I'm going to bring you back at the end, mate. We'll get into today's masterclass. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Yeah, I love your insights.
I need a coffee. So all good. See you shortly.
All right, see you shortly. So let's get into it today, guys. So, today's about owning your leadership, because you don't grow a team, a following by waiting. You grow by leading. And see, if you look behind you and there's nobody following you, then you've got some work to do. I had a mentor that shared that with me about 15 years ago. And, I had positional leadership in, middle management and all that sort of thing. But when I really looked behind me and, I seen who was following me, they were following me because they had to, not because they wanted to. And so that sort of pulled me up straight away and got me to realize that, hey, I've got some work to do to grow as a leader, as an effective leader, to help people, to influence them, to take action to benefit their lives, not mine. Yeah, so leadership's not about position. It's about influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's how we use that influence. Is it to empower and equip others, or is it to manipulate others? It's that, the heart behind what you do is what's going to make you a great leader. And, as we're going through and we're doing this 30-day Shopley Affiliate Challenge, that is my heart, is to empower and equip you all to serve you from this capacity, to be able to help you to be able to step up and become great leaders. Because when we can go become a team of leaders, then we can go become a team of hero makers, not just the hero of the story. And that's what drives me to do what I do every day. See, people don't follow perfection. They follow certainty. They follow posture. They follow confidence. They follow passion. And it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, you can have those elements when you believe in yourself and you believe in the product that you're serving and you believe in the greater good, that whatever you're doing is impacting the greater good for that legacy impact. You don't have to be the expert. You don't even have to have all the wins on the board yet. You just need to be one step ahead of your people that you're serving. And this is why I love creating value-based content and teaching this concept and attraction marketing, because it positions us as that servant, as a space to bring value to people's lives. That's attraction. That's magnetic. And truth comes from clarity. Clarity will help you to bring action. Action will help you to bring results. And most affiliates and network marketers, they stall out because they want to make it all about them. They want to make it all about the sale, not about how they can add value and lead people, influence people to take action for themselves. I've said it all along and I'll continue to say it. We all hate being sold to, but we all love to buy. What are we buying? We're buying that transformative impact result. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a hay fever starting to flare up a bit today with the change of the seasons. But let's look at the 5 habits of highly influential leaders. Number 1, all the leaders that I aspire to be like and what I've seen and what I get encouraged to do is they go first. They share before it's polished. They start the conversation. They model behavior that they want others to follow them with. This is why we do crazy things like this 30-day Shopley Affiliate Challenge. Nobody else in Shopley is doing this. I'm the first to be able to bring this type of, training to our network globally or my team. It doesn't matter, but they go first, right? That's what a great leader always does. Another leader is they'll always edify others often. Excuse me. I just need to blow my nose for a second. Let me just mute this. You didn't need to see me blow my nose and hear about all that. So sorry about that, but just a bit of hay fever going on. So yeah, they go first. And number 2, they edify others often. It's all about their team, their people that they're helping, right? They build up their team. They shout others out from the rooftops, and that creates culture. This is why I love working with Jade and Dave and our inner core circle and our Laptop Lifestyle Dads Academy students and our Shopley team. See, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about how can I be a part of your story by serving you, empowering you, and equipping you to step up to the mark. And then you go win. And then that way we go win together. The third the third habit that highly influential leaders do is they create safe spaces for growth. They put tight boundaries around, strong boundaries, soft heart conversations. We're not here to rescue or save anybody, but we create that environment where people can thrive. They can go through their messy transformation. Because let's face it, any form of transformation is chaotic. It's messy. It's beautiful if you embrace it, but it's hard. We normalize the messy action of that in that safe space. We lead with vulnerability and vision. You start to see these great leaders that I've always aspired to be like. They always lead with their struggle, their challenge, their vulnerability first, and then they lead to helping you to get where they are now by vision casting, dream casting. And that's what a great leader will always do. It's always future pacing, but it's meeting people where they're at first and being able to create a space where people can connect, relate, and resonate. See, we could do that through content marketing on social media as well. You don't have to have a big Facebook group. You don't have to have a big email list. You can just start with a couple of followers. And then you go build your followers, your friends on Facebook, and you build and you build and you build by that servanthood leadership, creating safe spaces for people to grow, edifying others often, and leading by example. The fourth attribute a great leader does is they follow through on what they say. This is how we build trust with our audience is being by a person of integrity. You let your yes be a yes, your no be a no, and integrity builds credibility. And this is how trust is earned. We talk about the trust bank between the connection between us versus our people. The idea is to build that trust bank up. So we're always making deposits into that bank. So when we need to make a withdrawal, because we are human, we are making mistakes. We're not fallible. When we do make a mistake and we trip over our own feet and we have a bank there where then, people are making a withdrawal from a bank that's full instead of empty. Integrity is a really, really big, strong core value trait for a lot of leaders. Number 5 is they stay consistent even when it's quiet. You hear that? They stay consistent even when it's quiet because it's not about the initial impact results. The results. It's about the impact and the legacy. It's about the long-term focus. Like I could go weeks without a sale converting, but I'm still here every day. I'm showing up. I'm building that trust. I'm building that credibility. I'm being a person of integrity. I'm serving. And leaders don't disappear when the engagement is low. They lead regardless. That's a hard thing for a leader to do because they need to really get into that mission and vision and steer the ship through the storm or, through that desert, whatever it is, that drought. But that's what great leaders do, right? They help to, steer the ship and navigate through that. And leaders never disappear. They're reliable. So I love this topic of leadership. This is just going to be a nice, short, sweet one today. But I'd love you to share, different leadership styles in the comments for me and shout out a person in your team or, a person that you're leading in their team. Let's give them credit. Let's give them recognition. Let's lift them up and edify them and get into this practice of edification, not making it about you, making it about them. So, go ahead, leave, who's a great leader that you're following at the moment in the comments. And please don't be all about me. If it is me, let's get outside of that and let's make it about others. Whether it's be your mum, whether it be your dad, whether it be your grandparent, whether it be a mentor, whoever it is, put them in the comments for me. And so tag them and celebrate them and thank them because leadership can be a thankless job. It could be a death of 1,000 cuts job. It can be hard. It can be very lonely. And what keeps leaders going is knowing that they are serving in that capacity and seeing others win. Because I've had some sleepless nights carrying a lot of heartache, a lot of despair, a lot of brokenness, with people lifting up in a prayer. Like for those of you who don't know, I actually started an online church 12 months ago with my wife. And it's been one of the hardest 12 months of leadership and maturing in that space and growing in that space. You know, listening to people's heartache and despair and brokenness and carrying those in our heart, in our prayers, but not being able to realize that we can't save or rescue anybody. That we're here to empower and equip and support people to go through their messy transformation and to walk with them, but we can't do it for them. And so that has been one of my biggest leadership growth lessons over the last 12, 18 months. And I'd love to know, what has your mentorship, what is your mentor, your leader, your person who has worked with you, help you to understand around leadership? How's it help you to grow? You know, share in the comments. Amanda, you shared Amanda McCloy. I 100% agree with you. Amanda McCloy is a great leader. She knows how to influence people. She knows how to win friends, but she also knows how to support people. So, Dave, I'm going to bring you up here for a second, mate. So, going through the 5 habits of leadership, what is one area of those 5 habits that you feel like you need to work on more to become a better leader?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I had a different answer prepared for something else. Probably.
So they go first, they edify others, they create safe spaces for growth, they follow through on what they say, and they stay consistent even when things are quiet. We all could work on any area, right? And for me, it's about learning how to, you know, really learn the master of edifying others and lifting up more people in that space and sharing more stories about the great space. Like, I do that pretty well, but I could do it better. So what are one of the areas that you feel that you could do it better in?
Probably learning how to create that safe space would probably be one of them. I mean, I need to improve probably on all of them overall, but that would probably be the one that's lagging the most. But the other thing that I sort of got out of it that I was actually thinking about was just when you were going through them, just about the leaders on, you know, everybody worries about having everything, you know, Mickey Mouse or, you know, 100% ready, you know, and how much the emphasis was on just starting messy. It doesn't matter. And, you know, working your way through it. And I think that was one of the highlights in that whole conversation for me is, you know, because I know I tend to do it too. Like, you know, I've got this, I'm going to put this out, and then I go, no, I need to do this to it. I need to do that to it. I need to do something else to it. Whereas I could just put it out there and modify it, you know, later. So, yeah, I think that was probably one of the biggest takeaways for me from today's. Just do it more messy.
Do it and make mistakes, like fix them up as you go. And be okay with that, embrace that. Because hey, if you're making mistakes and people highlight them for you, you know what? They're actually looking. They're following you. Right. They're trying to help you to, you know, make it better. And I've always, you know, instead of trying to build it and then they'll come, let's go. Sorry, you know, like build the castle and then wait for people to come. Let's build it as we go. And it's like trying to fly a plane at the same time, you know, and building the plane at the same time. It's messy. Embrace that. But here's the thing, right? You can then pivot and adjust. You can tweak and perfect as you go, listening to your audience, listening to their needs. And when we get in our own world, and they say, like, for example, right, we build out a course, and before we even sell the course, you know, I've done this myself. Like, I built like a 10-week course. I recorded it, I made it all work, and then I started to sell it. And then I got into week 3, week 4, and realized I needed to pivot and adjust very, very quickly, because listening to the audience, that, you know, how I could serve them in a bigger, better, powerful way meant I needed to go totally different direction to where I was planning to go in the first place. So it's like you know, when you launch something, you know, like a book, for example, like all you need to do to launch a book is a book cover. You just need the title, the concept, and a book cover. Away you go. You can go and promote that book cover for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before you actually launch and create the book. And when you do go sell the book, you've already got 3 years of people who are waiting for it, you know, that type of thing, versus trying to wait for the book to be done and then go try and sell it. It's a completely different paradigm when you flip it on its head here. I think we all get caught up in having to have things done right and be perfect. And reality is how many people get held back because of that that thought set, that mindset.
Most people, I'd say,
Mm.
and it's not always. I mean, I'll get in there and I'll have a go and I'll do things, but then something else will come along. I'll start doing it, and you try to use your wisdom, which then actually holds you back a bit because you don't, just put it out there again and adjust it as you go, as you were saying.
Right.
So I think most people.
And this 30-day challenge that we've been run has been messy, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's been a great time.
It's been a great
and
time.
There's been lots of value, and everybody's taken action, and everybody's seems to be receiving it really well, and they're jumping on board, and they're getting results because of it. So messy action
and it's been intentional, right? It's intentional messy action, and people are getting results. That's all that really matters at the end of the day, right?
Yep, exactly. We're serving them, they're serving their people, and everybody's getting the win-win-win situation.
That's it, and we're doing it together, and we go a lot further faster together.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for today. Learn how to become a more effective leader. Read books, listen to podcasts, do what it takes. But here's your action step for today's masterclass. Go post one leadership-driven story on your content, on your newsfeed today, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, wherever it is, wherever you hang out. And shout out one person in your community. Let's get into the art of edification and lifting others up. And from the back of that, go start 3 new conversations from your heart. No pitch, just total connection. Because as we've been talking about the customer value journey, right? We want to lead with value to create massive awareness. We want to then build into engagement. Then we want to build into a relationship. And all marketing and sales is putting the right product in front of the right people at the right time off the back of connected relationship. So, hey, drop a quick line below for me if you're ready to lead like you've never done before. And I'll send you a 15-minute discovery call where you can come in with me and have a chat with me. We can talk a little bit more about leadership. We can talk more about content marketing. And we can also see if the Laptop Lifestyle Dads Academy is a good fit for you as well. But final thought before we wrap up, your influence is somebody else's permission slip. You hear that? Your influence is somebody else's permission slip to work and get going. You just never know who's watching you and waiting for your story to give them hope, to give them traction. And that's all it takes. So let's go serve out there without being attached to the result. Let's just serve and be attached to the mission, because the mission matters most. Thank you very much, Amelia, Jade. Who else we've got here joining us live today? Dave, Jade, I thank you very much for all your support. If you're watching the replay later on, let us know where you're tuning in from below. If you've got any questions, get in the comments. But I also highly recommend that you get in the comments and you go edify a mentor or a leader that's had influence on your life and give them thanks. All right. Thanks for your time. Stay caffeinated, stay legendary, and bye for now.